welcome back to Andor. I'm really hoping this is a good one. Like I said, the show thus far has not really impressed me, but I think it has a lot of potential. Alright, where are we off to?
Blue, bright blue.
Would you be bleeding from a blaster bolt?
I've been in a Thunder Hullcrafter. Come with me and help with something important.
It'd be nice to know what the something
Try
important
and kill
is.
me and take the ship. I don't need you to steal. Seeing how well you're doing on your own. I'll take the drop-off and do what? I think it's all useless. Better to split
Really?
their food and steal their trinkets. And who did it turn out we were fighting? Ourselves. So please,
Interesting.
wouldn't you rather give it all at once to something real than carve off useless pieces till there's nothing left? I didn't risk my ass for the Starpath unit.
You make a fair point.
Came for you. You survive and deliver. I'll give you 200,000.
I kind of want more details than that, but that's a start.
We be stealing?
Now we're going to Coruscant. Okay. Been a long time. Oh, and who is this? The Imperial Security Bureau is on Coruscant. I suppose that makes sense.
New resources, Supervisor Grandy?
That voice sounds very familiar.
Surveillance, sir.
Looking for what?
No, sir.
I'll expect.
Oh my God, it's
specifics by the
Qyburn.
end of the day. Regret, because they've done such an excellent job so far. Hmm?
Well, this guy
What do we do here?
is quite the
What is our
leader.
purpose, Legret?
Action, sir.
Very good, Dedra. That is verbatim from the ISP
Dedra.
mission statement and wrong.
Oh,
Security is an illusion. You want security? Don't trouble yourself writing the memorandum. I'll reassign it. Blevin, Morlana's sector.
Damn.
Ferrix.
Corporate security, sir.
sucks to be you, man.
Out there. There you
Give
go.
a name for yourself.
No, he looks a bit more like,
Next 5 days,
I
you'll be
remember.
climbing. Take this.
Is it a Kyber crystal? There's only one type of crystal in the Star Wars universe.
The down payment.
He can be trusted and also can't be trusted at the same time. No point but to go along with it all for now. Down to it.
Something I can help you with?
No, nothing.
You're vulnerable and you
She
know
looks
it.
really
I'm buying you
familiar, too.
critical redundancy.
You're giving me a choice here.
Yeah.
I mean,
You take him or call it off.
yeah,
I was planning to shut you down. In the next 3 days, if for any reason... Look at me! You
not,
wanted to leave.
not much of a
This
choice.
is what he comes to. Clem?
Might not even be a good guy at all, actually. The way he kind of phrased a lot of this.
Real time reading the report.
But I've had nothing to do with this.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, he makes a point, actually.
Took the combined ingredients of idiocy, ineptitude, and total disengagement for this. You've rung the final bell on corporate independence. As of this morning, the
Oh,
Milana
shit.
system is under permanent imperial authority.
Over one? I mean, it is a big fuck up, but over one fuck up, they basically just get bought out, but not even bought. They get stolen by the Imperials. That's fucked. But again, I feel like it's gonna make him a much more interesting character. I'm excited to see what they do with him.
If you change that in any way, you and I are going to have a big problem.
I think she's also from Game of Thrones, and I am really desperately trying to remember who she is. Action made me jump. Fuck you for doing that.
I don't want to spark his interest.
Want to take the credit, all the glory here. We have Cassian in the rebellion, Karn, who's like, I guess, sort of in between, you know, a corporate entity, and now Daedra as the actual Imperial. Typically putting on a wig to make it look nice, it's gonna take a lot more than just one that you slip on. I'm just saying. How in disguise are you going? Whoa. See, there ain't no way that's a wig that you just slipped on. Like, look at that hairline. That's too good.
Drink up. We have a way to go.
You didn't have like a speeder or anything that could have taken us? Why do we have to walk?
On this incident in Ferrix.
I have work to do.
That was an official request made by an officer of my staff.
You might want to steady the ladder before you start climbing.
I'm not looking for career advice.
I do what I want.
Here, you fall alone.
Are you denying my
Alright.
request?
For the second time today.
I kind of like Daedra. Like, I know she's technically working against our protagonist, but a career-savvy, determined person is someone I feel interested in watching. No way they got him on this. He's on Black Mirror and The End of the Fucking World, and probably other stuff, but I love him.
Everybody's throat.
Just everybody keep a cool head, relax. Everything's fine.
And Cinta.
It'll take me a minute to remember all your names, but cool.
Can I speak with you?
We'll take all the help we can get.
Aww.
We'll work Clem into the program at drill.
Little icy. That looks really, really good. Some of these shots are like incredible, in my opinion. Some of the composition and framing is really, really great.
Mother.
Yep. Oh. Alright, well, things are already starting to make a little more sense for him.
Apologies in advance. We're trying to save our pain meds.
How do you know him?
He comes
His
hiding.
belief in the cause. When it comes down to it, that's all I need to know.
Well, that's kind of the one thing he doesn't have yet.
You as well, Luthen. Sorry to be so late.
So he has like a whole other double life going on.
Free your mind, Senator. This is a place where time stands still.
There's no harm in looking. We just got in some terribly interesting coins.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
What are you playing at, though?
Trying to expand
Ooh,
downstairs
everyone's
fighting.
playing everybody. This is good.
The circle? No.
I know what I'm asking.
No. We're vulnerable enough. We need funding, not more people to worry about.
Don't lecture me on vulnerability. No one's more at risk
Good point.
than I am. You think I haven't thought this through?
Why don't you take this on loan?
May I?
If your husband doesn't love it, I'll be glad to
I
take
love it. Nice little front they have going on here. I love stuff like that. Seeing the, you know, the political side of Star Wars that I kind of wish I got in the prequels, like this covert, hidden deals that a politician is making with someone who seems just like a shop owner, but is actually leading an insurrection. Like, this is good stuff. This is more like it. Oh. See, could we not have used that to get here?
Oh, he's here now? Where?
Convenient that you happened to be gone when we needed that.
Just like that. Should have been consulted.
On that we agree.
Like, yes, I agree this isn't ideal, but everyone just chill out. We need the help. Let's go.
The garrison.
Wounded. On top of a met who suddenly got my neck in their hands.
I know the feeling.
Are we done?
Yeah, for real though.
He's Clem. He's here. That's all that matters.
Looks beautiful. I like all the designs.
Is that a problem?
You can't be serious. These people hate me. They spend every day trying to undo anything I've touched.
Well, perhaps tomorrow they'll think twice.
The fuck?
Right now, please. Go.
Yeah, get out. Sorry, but get out.
Must everything be boring and sad?
I really don't like him.
Arctic ammo.
Kind of an interesting take on it, though. He's just like
The Empire came in 13 years
bored
ago.
with life, I guess,
The
lashing
areas
out.
of Mackenzie, 50 clips
Just a giant man-child.
They quickly
Because they know no one's stupid enough to try it.
No one but us.
There has to be
These old stones.
a way to ensure that
Lost
you
Mabrani
get out of there
makes their
faster.
temple. What's left of it that once sat on the mighty river.
The eye? It's not something you'll soon forget.
Once every 3 years.
2,000.
Interesting.
And it's not. We've calculated an escape trajectory that gets us out just before the eye closes.
This happens in 3 days.
That actually does sound very fun.
That's your cover.
Like, it's
Yes. Gets us in,
crazy.
gets us out.
So crazy,
They won't
it
know when
just
came
might
from.
work.
If we can beat the clock, we'll be gone before they even know what happened.
Is it worth creating this much intra-office friction in the pursuit of what seems like a straight-up case of a robbery gone awry?
Similar items of interest, repeated methods.
She's detecting symptoms of the sickness, as you said.
Yes, sir.
Here, we act on vetted and verified information.
Oh, I think she'll get the last laugh, dickhead.
You have 2 sectors.
That's an Aldani phrase book.
all the bases. Are you all just gonna stare while I
Can I eat my food?
do my reading? Like, damn.
I'll take the first watch.
All right. Nice. I actually really enjoyed that one. I think that was probably my favorite of the 4. All right. At the end of the day, I think this episode is kind of set up for either the next episode or maybe the one after that. But it actually did some really solid world building that I very much enjoyed. It showed how Luthen is not really a good or a bad guy, but he's working on the side of, the rebellion, the good guys. Daedra, I don't think you can necessarily say she's not good or bad. She clearly doesn't seem like a good person. But seeing the things that she's going to have to hurdle over in terms of job conflicts, I find that really interesting. I'm enjoying seeing the, behind the scenes of the Empire for real now, not just, sinister meetings of generals with Darth Vader. Perpetually through the episode, Cassian is insisting on his freedom and the desire to go off and just do his own thing and let this all fall behind, which is rather interesting because that's, for the most part, what Jin's main prerogative was in Rogue One. And he was the one who was all in on the rebellion. And throughout this episode, he really was stuck. Luthen told him, you could just go fuck off somewhere, but that's just a really shitty way for you to die. If you're gonna die, die for us. And he just said it in much prettier terms, which convinced him. But as he said to his friend that he had to convince to let Cassian in, it doesn't really seem like there's a choice to be made here. He's saying that both of them have a choice when clearly neither of them really do. He has created some pretty fraught ultimatums for them to take. And he kind of did the same thing with the politician that he met as well. Basically told her, I don't really care if it's hard for you anymore. It's hard for everybody. We still have a deal, yes? And she seems to, for the moment, be going along with it. And based on her conversation with her husband, it seems her main reasoning for that whole thing is she genuinely thinks what the Empire is doing is just wrong. Like, they are severely hurting people, and she's trying to fight against this. Which makes me think if the Republic was in charge, she would be doing the same thing against the Republic if they were also, letting people starve. Which, honestly, I'm sure the Republic did. But yeah, in many ways, Cassian and other characters are all trapped in their situations because of Luthen, or he's at least creating the appearance that he's the one forcing them all into these spots. Whether they could walk away or not, I guess we'll see. I enjoy our new guerrilla warfare group. Again, I don't know their names super well yet. I'll have to look them up and study just a bit, because there's 6 or 7 of them? And thus far, their attitude towards Cassian is a little frustrating, but it is also understandable, and a few of them have shown to be at least somewhat likable so far. I'm curious to see how competent in a, life or death situation they're going to be. And we didn't get a whole lot of Karn in the episode, but what we did get, I really, really like. Like, you see, he suffers some very severe consequences for going against his higher-ups' orders, and not only ruined his life, but pretty much everyone's lives who works for that company. Like, that is all no longer theirs, it is the Empire's. So that was a pretty big blow, and I always appreciate when actual consequences are given to characters for the choices that they make. It's never any fun when someone just always skirts by without suffering the consequences just over and over and over again. But there was also the scene with him and his mom where it was just so strange. She seems happy and angry at the same time to see him, slaps him across the face, then starts laughing and smiling while hugging him very tightly and tells him to come inside. But is also quite aggressive and rude to the neighbor who is staring at the scene that she's now made. I want to see more, but that alone tells me quite a bit as to why Karn is so uptight and rigid and follows the rules and is probably always seeking approval, because I get the feeling his mother doesn't exactly give that to him. It was interesting for sure. And I think the final scene was rather weak in terms of a final scene for an episode. There wasn't really anything in it that got me or anyone else super excited for the next one, I don't think. It pretty much was just a character moment of Cassian realizing, how stuck he is in this situation. He doesn't really have a choice as to what he does here. He is being watched and could easily be killed by, his own people or the Imperials. Like, it's a sticky situation, but it's very subtly said and read through his expressions. So for that to be the final moment of the episode seemed a bit strange, but I don't hate it either. But moving on to the technicals, writing in this episode I thought was honestly substantially better. Every character in this episode did feel like they had significant importance and were building towards the story as a whole. With Bix and the dude from the junkyard in the first 3 episodes, I just never felt like they were going to be important, and the fact that they are nowhere to be seen here tells me, yeah, they weren't. But Daedra, Karn, Cassian, even Cassian's, new friends, and Luthen and his political ally, like all these characters 100% feel like this is what the whole season and show is kind of about. Which even more is why I think those first 3 episodes should have been 1 episode. But I thought the pacing here was good. It was very slow, but in this case I did not mind at all, because it was setting up some new characters, establishing the stakes, setting up the next conflict that everyone's going to have to get through. It felt like a very methodically built episode, which I appreciated. That being said, I think there are some ways they could have sped things up here without ruining the whole thing. I don't think Cassian and the leader of his new group needed to walk the entire way and have multiple scenes of them discussing what they can and can't tell each other. And it was interesting to see Luthen get ready, put on all the rings and the wig and all that. But I don't think I needed it. I think if he had just shown up like that, the audience would have naturally been like, what the hell? And then figured it out as the scene progressed. Oh, this is just the other life he lives. This is an act he puts on. So yeah, I think they still have an issue of showcasing some things that just don't really need to be. But I did think the writing in this episode was a lot better, so I'm going to do an 8 out of 10. Editing in this episode, again, it was very slow, methodical. There were some really nice edits, though, specifically with the scene where Luthen is kind of guiding the politician away from the other people. I gotta look up her name. I can't just call her the politician. Oh my god. I feel a little stupid. I did not recognize her as the Mon Mothma of the Rogue One movie, and I can't remember which original Star Wars movie she was in as well. But yeah, I did not recognize that was her, and that's who this character is. Honestly, that makes things make a little bit more sense. She's already in a position of power to transition over to the at least somewhat leader of the rebellion. Does make sense. But anyways, the editing where she kind of looks at the assistant of the store to get the other guard away from them. There were some very well done edits there that led the eye to the perfect places so you could read the scene without there being any dialogue. And in most other cases, again, the editing was just very slow, determined. Whenever it cut, there was some emphasis put on what it cut to, which I think is smart. It was well done. But it wasn't perfect, and it didn't completely wow me, so I'll do an 8 out of 10. Cinematography, I really enjoyed the cinematography in this one. I think there were some shots that were quite impressive. There is still a lot of white light being used, but I noticed a lot less flat and uninspired lighting. There were some really cool stylistic choices, like how they lit the whole scene when they're planning the attack with all the light from the table kind of bouncing up on their faces. Looked very good. That shot of Karn returning home to the super symmetrical, massive like apartment building, some of those shots were just gorgeous. And again, it was a lot of white light. It was very naturalistic light, but because of the way they framed and set up the composition for those, it was just awesome. But there were also plenty of moments in the episode where I think the cinematography, again, wasn't bad, but it was just serviceable. It wasn't incredible or anything. So I'll do a 9 out of 10. Acting in this episode, what can I say? I think it was very good. Diego Luna was doing some excellent face acting, really showcasing his emotions and his conflict with this whole situation without saying too much. I mean, sometimes he would voice his opinion, but sometimes it was just a look he would give. Kyle Soler, or Solar, whichever one it is, he's doing a fantastic job with Karn, because again, there's just so much tension under the surface all the time. It's like boiling up through him, and it's really fascinating to watch. And of course, Stellan Skarsgård was killing it in this one. Like, I really enjoyed his conversation. Oh my god, she's the waif! Oh my god! Faye Marseille, who played the waif on Game of Thrones. That's what I recognized you from. I had a feeling I hated you on that show, but I couldn't be sure. But she's playing Vel on this show, and her conversation with Luthen, that was fantastic acting from both their parts, but mostly Stellan Skarsgård, because that moment where he just loses his patience with her and gets very aggressive in his speech, it was just a great moment where it showcases a bit more about the character. It makes you realize, oh, he is not 100% put together. He is, on a timetable here. He is really eager to get this shit going, and he might not be that good of a dude. So yeah, I think he played that very well. And all while still making you wonder, like, can I trust this guy? Probably not, but can I like him? Maybe. We shall see. And there were very few moments in the episode where I thought there was any acting that disappointed me, so I'm actually going to go 10 out of 10. Costumes and makeup, I thought it was, again, a lot better in this episode. I like Luthen's look for his dual life. It's very elegant and lavish. I thought Mon Mothma's costumes looked fucking sweet, which is a big step up from her previous stuff where she just wore an extremely plain white dress. At least that's what I remember her wearing. I like the look of the Aldani fighters, like lots of furs. Everyone looks rather rugged and unfunded. And of course, it's nice to see Imperial uniforms. It might just be for the nostalgia factor, but they look good. They look good. I'll do a 9 out of 10. Set design. Again, I think they did a really good job in this episode. The look of the Imperial base, all in white, but thankfully not just blank white walls. There were usually these like geometric shapes built into them with some like accents of gray and everything. Mon Mothma's apartment looked fucking awesome. Again, it's just kind of nice to see Coruscant again. Just give it another try. Less chrome and more elegance to the whole thing, which I like a lot. And the actual locations that they're shooting on for Aldani, I don't know where they're shooting on location, but it looks beautiful. Like, it's a really gorgeous location. And I am so thankful we're not in a fucking desert again. I love my Star Wars stuff, but there is so much that revolves around Tatooine and desert planets. I am so thankful that this so far has not been. So for set design, I'm going to do another 9 out of 10. Visual effects. I don't recall there being a whole lot. It mostly seemed to be just to create the city of Coruscant. And there was the bit with the TIE fighters flying by. I'm sure there's other stuff that I'm forgetting. There's tons of hidden effects and stuff like this. There is the slight possibility that they didn't shoot anything on location for Aldani, and they were always just on a green screen and like a small grassy set that was built. I doubt it. I do think they were more than likely on location somewhere. But there's a good chance that the backgrounds were altered or changed to, remove a city or make the mountains a little more dramatic and stuff. And the fact that I not once got distracted by a bad special effect in this episode, practical or CGI, I think that's very good. And I have to admit, I feel like Coruscant has never looked better, which I am all here for. 9 out of 10. Sound design I also thought was quite good, but not as good in this episode. There were a lot more lackluster moments when it comes to the sound design, I would say. Like, I was missing a bit of that Blade Runner-ish feel I got in some of the first 3 episodes. And I have to admit, I think the intro theme for the main title card, it's not very good. It's not catchy. It doesn't get me excited for the episode. I think they should probably work on that for the second season. So I'm going to do a 7 out of 10. And that gives this episode a score of an 8.6 out of 10. Again, in my opinion, I think this was by far the best episode. There wasn't a lot of action or anything, but I think it had the best writing. It was the most interesting. It's what got me invested in the plot. I almost think they should have released the first 4 episodes when they dropped the show, or just make the first 3 into 1 episode. I still say that would have been the best solution to all this. But this was quite good, and this seems like it's going to be more what the show is about. Like, the first 3 episodes are all just to get Cassian off the planet and started along the journey. Now it seems like we're actually getting stuff started, so again, might have been better to release all 4 episodes at the start instead of 3. I am actually very excited for next week. I will see you all there, and that's about it.